My name is Rhapsody, and welcome back to Slay the Spire 2 Necrobinder. With Niao's Bones? I think it's going to be Niao's Bones, unless we see a real compelling... Whoa. I was about to say, unless we see a real compelling case for taking the Golden Pearl, and considering our 4 upgrade to Elite line starts with a rest and a shop right before it, it's very appealing. Well done, Golden Pearl. You managed to buck the trend of the opening of that episode. Well done. Ooh, tough. I was about to say, this fight is probably going to cause us damage, but the fact that the Leaf Slime in the backline is not attacking this turn saves us entirely. Probably save Unleash to kill the backline, single hits. Actually, it's getting pretty close to killing the front line. Yep. Easy. So at the end of this floor, we've got the Ceremonial Beast. So building up a huge amount of Doom isn't actually an especially good way to kind of counter the Ceremonial Beast. Borrowed time. Especially if I've got this early shop, I should be able to find a way to utilize that. But yeah, building up a bunch of Doom on Ceremonial Beast just leaves them in their first phase, where they just become stronger and stronger and stronger, and they hit you every available turn. So it's better to hit their breakpoint. High Five, Grave Blast, Defy. High Five is both AoE and vulnerability. It's really good. Grave Blast and Borrowed Time like going together, but they don't accomplish anything yet. I'll take High Five, something that I can accomplish. Yeah, pretty much the ideal turn there, I think. Got some block that turn that would last until... Oh, no, Borrowed Time could have played both of those strikes, so we're 1 strike behind where we could be. Thankfully, it's an early enough fight that I don't think it's really going to cause an issue. Scourge, pass. I'm open to pass. Largely because we have the High Five already in the deck. Toric Toughness. Yes, I want that. I don't think slithering High Five is a really good idea. Like, yeah, 50% of the time it becomes cheaper, but 25% of the time it becomes more expensive. And especially because it sets up vulnerability, you really want to be able to play cards after it reliably. And Toric Toughness is just another way for us to get like a pseudo-temporary HP. Capture Spirit, no escape. Capture Spirit and Death March are both here. The ability to gain a bunch of additional draw and then do damage per draw. Especially in a deck that has Borrowed Time already. That looks pretty good. Alongside Production as well. Yeah, I'll snag all 3 of those and then maybe also Lethality. Because that will be a huge amp as well to Death March. Now, the big weakness of this deck is that I have neglected to defend it all. Like, yeah, we've got Toric Toughness in here, but that's not really... I took that because I couldn't take either of the more aggressive options, so it's not really like a good point in my favor that we have that. However, if we're able to push through this first elite at reasonable speed, so maybe we up our aggression here, something like High Five gets an extra turn of vulnerability. If we push through this one, then we can hit upgrade, rest, upgrade, and then even duck that elite if we have to. Alright, we'll hit High Five first. Toric Toughness is probably one of the ones after this. We're not going to be using Pass here. I'm not against using Mazza's Gift in this fight, just to try and help us push through it, but if I can save that for the end of the floor, I'd like to. Torque Toughness Bodyguard this turn. Helps pre-defend us for other turns. Like, yeah, High Five can make you vulnerable this turn, but I'm not going to be following up with a lot of damage in the following turns. Like, I really do need Death March online. So Torque Toughness and Bodyguard there. We'll take 8 to the body. Lethality defend, and we can drop a Death March. Hopefully we get Capture Spirit in the next hand. Nice. Well, we do have Death March in this hand with a decent amount of draws, so we'll see how, you know, this all shapes up. We got him. We're barely alive, though. That's probably the point to write home about. I don't really need my strength, and I do need additional energy, because my strength is only affecting Death March by, you know, Death March and a couple strikes in this deck. Whereas we're putting a bunch of draw in here, so the additional energy makes a lot of sense. Speaking of, let's upgrade Toric Toughness for the additional defense. So speaking of earlier, we get Whetstone upgrading. Come on, 2 strikes? There's an Unleash, Death March, and yeah, 3 strikes in the deck. So the 1 strike upgrade is fine, but you couldn't have targeted something else. This one, unfortunately, has to be a rest. We're probably going to be using the Heart of Iron in the next boss fight. This is going to be tough, because we definitely have an elite coming up, but we've also got another elite afterwards. Okay, yeah, Borrowed Time Unleash. Not a half bad way to open the fight. We've got AoE for this fight as well. There's some of it. Let's go Death March Bodyguard and Heart of Iron to round out our defense. Ugh. Bad position for Capture Spirit at the very bottom of the deck there. Yeah, that Death March is going to do nothing this entire cycle. That's tough. That's awful. Yeah, I high five doing the AoE damage to split Frog Parasite. That's not, oh boy. Yep. I mean, it's the best I can do, unfortunately. What? It kills Frog Parasite and then it applies the vulnerability to the Wrigglers? Okay, that's wild. Did not expect that. Well. Yeah, well, yeah, all I can really say about this one is whelp. We could hit a really early high five in this cycle. I mean, we didn't, but it would have been nice to. Especially while all the enemies were still vulnerable. That's probably about the last turn we can get away with here. And thankfully, it's the last turn we needed to. Right hand. I mean, between borrowed time returning right hand to hand is going to return a 1 cost. But between high five and Toric Toughness, yeah, we get the right hand back a fair few times. Snap's also really good with this deck. Oh yeah, being able to retain Death March, Toric Toughness, Borrowed Time, High Five, being able to retain any of those for the right turn, so impactful. I'll take an additional rest. I mean, instead of card upgrades, I'm getting relics. And some of those relics are upgrading my cards, so I guess we're still ahead in terms of value-ish. Toric toughness, lethality, hell yeah. Great turn there. Play Friendship, Capture Spirit, then the first attack of the turn will be Death March for 49. Oh, and then we actually have Lethal. I thought I was planning around killing later in that cycle. Haunts. Whenever you play a soul, random enemy loses X HP. I mean, I will put more souls in this deck. I can't take many more forms of execution, though. Happy to see the high five in the opening hand. Still not gonna be very well defended regardless. I think instead of defending for 5 health this turn, I'm supposed to snap to retain Unleash so that I have more range of taking 2 of you out next turn. Yeah. Okay, so lethality then turns Death March into a one-shot lethal on the back. Now another 4 damage to us. Good lord. Yeah, I mean, you know, this is courtesy of the fact that I didn't put Defend in the deck, and I really should be putting Defend in my deck somewhere. It can't just all be 1 copy of Toric Toughness that I took begrudgingly. It's also way too late to fix that problem. Compelling. Okay, so I've got to kill this enemy very quickly, and then next floor I've got to solve my problem. I'll take Afterlife for a little bit more survivability. I will, again, have to rest here because that's the cost of not having enough defense, is having to rest consistently so that you can spend your HP as your defense instead. Which then puts you behind the 8-ball. Ugh. Look, if I get killed by the Ceremonial Beast here, I'm going to say, yeah, thanks. Yeah, yep. That one makes sense. Absolutely. Drop a high 5. I wasn't going to be very good at defending that turn, you see. Afterlife. Capture Spirit. Regrettably only wants to be on the bottom of the deck. 29 damage. I mean, it's not bad damage this turn. It's just also not good defense, and I do need good defense. Ooh, tough. Am I dead? No, still alive. I'm gonna drop a defend and then bottled potential because, yeah, I either had to split this turn with a really aggressive turn or I was gonna die. Capture Spirit Soul. I can Toric Toughness and Bodyguard in order to prepare for the next cycle. I'm a little scared that I'm not going to have any defends played next turn, except for the one in hand. Thankfully, Temp HP on Osti gets us through. Better to play the Soul first. Okay. Defend. High 5, then Borrowed Time, Defend, and Unleash. We're like one good streak of Souls and Death March away from winning this fight. GG. Shared Fate's defensive. I've already demonstrated I don't care about losing health myself, and also Zero Cost certainly fits into a deck that's trying to draw a bunch of cards. I can lose strength in order to make my enemies lose strength. This is the value path, but with no card selections on it, I'm going to have to treat this early shop as a way to find my defense. And we're so skewed. Like, cutting a strike, sure, that'll shift us defensive, but like, realistically, I need 1 or 2 big defensive cards and another small defensive card. Damn it. I was really hoping to see Relax here, because that would have taken the position of the 2 bigger cards. If you end your turn with unspent energy, gain additional energy next turn. I mean, yeah, especially with the production and the borrowed time in the deck, it's easy to start floating that. Not necessarily on the first turn, but soon after, at least. Pass. Lethality. Production. Defend. Borrowed time. I'll send a strike to the back line and then end my turn. And Pale's Tears is going off, and also all those cards were upgraded, courtesy of the Razor Tooth, which I didn't even mention when I picked it up, but every time we play an attack or a skill, it is upgraded for the rest of the combat. Sadly, I have to remove all of my energy that turn in order to completely negate the enemy's damage, but it works out. Nope, none of those are defensive enough, and there's no reason I can take additional aggression in the deck at the moment. Oh. Bread, at the first turn, lose 2 energy. At the start of all other turns, gain an energy. No, it's remove strike and take ultimate defend. Don't get tempted by the bread. I love the idea of bread and Bale's Tears. Like, I've just got to survive the first turn and then everything else is gravy, baby, but no. Ultimate defend, ultimate strike removal, ultimately we leave. Good work, Raps. You did it. Not a guarantee. Oh, actually, a guaranteed shop in a little bit of time. I'll take the power potions. Yeah, this is an opportunity to just take the 2 most defensive options I get. Pull aggro and negative pulse. Should that have been Wisp? No, I don't have enough draw in the first cycle to justify that being Wisp. Let's go colorless here. I'd love to see Equilibrium or even another ultimate defend. Flash of Steel, Catastrophe, and Discovery. Discovery's pretty good here because you can discover a lot of big cards. Catastrophe I'm less enthused about. Sure, it can hit big, but can also just play, you know, production and not production and pass, that'd be pretty good. You know, production and afterlife. Let's take the Discovery. I think Discovery is also worth an upgrade because it will exhaust out of the deck and not have the ability to upgrade itself with the Razor Tooth. Bodyguard, Pulse. Incorrect. It's pull aggro, Bodyguard. And then we still play Shared Fate. I want Bodyguard and pull aggro to be upgraded in this fight, even if they're not going to fully defend me this turn. But also that negative strength is going to assist. That'll make the 3rd turn of this fight really easy. Toric Toughness end turn, so we can start building from Pale's Tears. Perfectly defended. We do kind of have to fill the deck with souls and then burst the enemy down in a single turn, because otherwise we will lose this fight in a weird way. Do I take pull from below here? I have some ethereal cards in this deck. It's just I wonder if I'm playing them at all in this fight. I've already played one. Let's take Hang. Haunt. Did these souls, that's 3 damage to you. Do I... 7 damage, actually, sorry. Do I want to drop vulnerability this cycle? I think not. Okay, Ultimate Defend does need to go down. I think... High Five's essential as well, but then I don't get Hangout. Hang's going to be 27, and then have to cycle back around to it. At the moment, we're looking at trying to kill with Death March, but Death March isn't going to do it without vulnerability and a lot more draw than I have remaining in this deck, courtesy of Capture Spirits. I could play Soul this turn, trying to draw Death March. Didn't draw Death March. Domain is nice, but have I already signed my Death Warrant here? 18, 50, yeah, 51, literally exactly, we're dead. Yeah, so this is a concern of mine. I'm not certain this deck would have done incredibly well against Millipede, to be clear. But I have noticed the Infested Prism is really mean to Necrobinder. Even if you don't have a huge density of souls in your deck. Like, we just have 1 Capture Spirit. But the thing is, the Capture Spirit is very important for our damage. Even if I'd survived an additional previous turn, I don't think I was going to be capable of winning next turn or even the turn after. Dang. All right, let's drop that high five. Find ourselves in a new run. I was definitely pushing my luck by taking the additional soul on that last turn, trying to find the Death March. But knowing that Death March was the only large damage card remaining in the draw pile, and that defending was not going to be an option anymore, I knew that it was either reach for lethal or die next turn. I don't even know if I would have been able to take lethal that turn, but I was pretty certain of the alternative. There's another 4 upgrade path here, but it's one without such an early aggression that I get, you know, stuck in a spiral. And also, let's focus on having defensive cards in the deck, cards that prevent damage, so that I don't have to take all of the damage to my face. Act 1 boss dropping 2 relics. I'm actually excited about... Ooh, but lead paperweight. So Act 1 boss stopping 2 relics shouldn't be too difficult for us to prepare for the kin fight. With this many upgrades, this many question marks, this few elites. But lead paperweight, of course, gives me a couple of choices. Gives me the choice of what colorless card and then how I would try and build to make that colorless card utilized. Or outsized on its impact in the deck. There's also Hefty Tablet. Choose 1 of 3 rares, but add an injury to your deck as well. All right, let's go lead. Ooh, yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Panache, and then play a bunch of cards. I love Storming Off. Let me do it. Let's try and do it responsibly as well. Get me a Grave Warden, something that defends and also sets up the storm. Drain Power. Invoke certainly helps us play additional cards on a following turn. Pretty good for the Panache. I'll take Drain Power first, though. Just as a damage card. Ultimate Strike. Do I take you as well? Dirge would certainly make sense in this deck, ultimately. I'll take Dirge. Bodyguard Dirge for safety. Those souls in the draw pile mean I might actually get... Nope, not this turn. And I don't think next turn without another 0 cost in the deck either. Thankfully, the enemy's too dead for me to worry about it. Sick'em, Defile, and Countdown. I will say, using Osti damage is also a way to get a bunch of 0-cost attacks. So we could use Panache for AoE in an Osti attack sub-team. Sick'em is certainly one of the first cards you want to see for that as well, so I'm happy to speculate on it. Although I feel like maybe I'm speculating a bit broadly here. Ooh, Vested Popper. Whenever you enter combat, deal 9 damage to all enemies. Very important stuff right there. It's legitimately super helpful. Obviously not in every fight. There are some boss fights where you walk in and it doesn't matter at all that you've done that. They kind of just laugh as you tickle them. But think of it as like removing the additional HP that enemies get from Ascension levels 8. For a lot of hallway fights, it basically is. No escape. Fear, reap. Oh. No thank you. Those are all new tendrils in different directions that I'm not interested in. Panache is not going to do work for us right now. I'll upgrade the only card that is really viable that I've drafted so far, the Drain Power. I'm not going to be able to do anything about Slithering Strangler in this cycle, so I've got to focus on taking out Twig Slime. Sadly, it takes literally all 3 hits, no matter what way I cut it there. I'm going to use an energy potion so that I can take the enemy out this turn by triggering Panache. Rattle! Aussie deals 7 damage, and Aussie hits an additional time for each time that Aussie is hit this turn, which Sick'em sets up for. Did I put any defense? I didn't do that, did I? Yeah, I should probably do that. Let's get the Dirge upgraded, both defensively, and gives us souls that draw more cards. Hey, Captain's Wheel! That can keep us alive for half a floor. Let's upgrade the summon on Bodyguard too. Yeah, being able to hit a big Dirge, especially if I've got Panache and this is an AoE fight, that's pretty ideal for us. I'll play Drain Power before we cycle the deck. Then Sick'em, Rattle, decent damage, triggers Panache. Great. $21. Take out the healthiest enemy that we'd be attacking next turn. Okay. And the enemy who is attacking that turn. I don't have... okay, I got 1 soul in the draw pile. Probably not going to be hitting a Panache. Oof. Okay, we're starting to lose health. Not thrilled about this. Okay, we're all good still, and that'll close out the fight. We're fine. Gremlin Horn, Light Strike, Oblivion. Oblivion also cares about us playing a bunch of cards. Let's upgrade a Defend because I keep not taking Defends. Warpaint upgrades to Defend. See, there we go. I knew we were gonna get a Warpaint, so that made it not a mistake. Defend, Bodyguard, drop a big old Unleash on him. Get the full 18 block this turn for free. Hit him with a drain power, and then I don't know. I could try and cycle the deck, but probably better off not to. Flatten. That's a free attack in a Ostia. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to take Friendship as well. In the longer fight, Friendship's actually better, isn't it? But I've not got consistent soul generation, so maybe not even. Take the flatten. Let's upgrade the AoE damage of Panache. Take Dex Pot at the top of this fight. Great. Oblivion, then defend Dirge. Ascender's Bane clumsy in that hand certainly hurts. Okay. Sick 'em, flatten, and then rattle for the follow-up is a kill. Actually, the Panache means I don't even have to target that unit with it. Sick. Sick 'em, rattle. We're getting a lot of temp HP and Osty. I think we're making it through this fight. I mean, that turn certainly heavily jeopardized that. Basically, the whole deck is upgraded at this point. We played the world's slowest Apotheosis. Can't ignore that 30 damage. 15 on me is fine this turn. You've got a follow-up of like 27 in a couple turns time, rather. But you'll be well and truly dead before then. Again, we can make it out of the first floor with this, but we're not going to survive that long on the second. Soulstorm. I mean, everything in my deck wants me to have so many souls in here, except for the deck. Except for the card selections, which don't want me to have souls at all. I honestly, show me the glass eye. I want to see that many cards so that I can take some soul cards. Those aren't souls, but Poke is pretty good. Grey Warden's gonna come with us. We'll look. Spur can be considered a defensive choice for this deck, I suspect. Reanimate is too. Okay, Reanimate, Spur. I don't think I have enough draw to take that Poke right now. Grey Warden, whatever, I'll take the Poke. And I'll take Lethality. Sorry, Lethality Pass for the additional draw. I'll take a less aggressive opening here as well. Through an early shot, probably cut a strike and try and add an additional defend card there. That won't have solved the problem by that point, but it certainly pushes a lot in that direction. I'm not going to play that soul this turn because I just don't need to. Okay, I can see how it could have benefited me to play the soul last turn. Well, with the Soulstorm in hand this turn. I'm happy to use an attack potion in this fight. Really? I would not have thought... I would not have thought we were going to draw that many basic cards that turn. Thankfully, it doesn't change the outcome. Lexpot. Reeve gives us an upgraded soul in the draw pile, and it's already upgraded itself. Definitely worth taking. Vulnerability, no, but AoE, yes. Take Exterminate, because I don't always have Panache online yet. Second Sikkim. That's offense and defense, because it gives Osti Summon. Its Osti deals 5 damage whenever Osti hits the target this turn. Summon 3, which is temporary HP on Osti. There's also Calcify here for scaling for Osti's damage. Let's get rid of the Strike, take the Sikkim, and I think as well Calcify comes with us. And now I'm mostly focused on defense. Panache, Reanimate, and... Oof. Reeve Unleash kills a target. I can bodyguard and then strike, keeping ourselves comfortable and safe. Thank you, Gremlin Horn, for drawing additional cards as well. Borrowed Time in the same hand as Dirge is great. Borrowed Time in most other hands with this deck at the moment is bad. I don't think I take it. Oh, wow. I'll go with the option that also does damage. Sikkim, Flatten, Rattle. So we summoned 12 instead, but we also dealt like 50 damage to you. And it's definitely worth dirging. I didn't use Flexbot that turn because all of those were Osti attacks, and Osti doesn't deal additional damage from strength. Defend, Oblivion, Strike, and Sikkim. We lay Sikkim at the end because Osti is also not affected by negative strength. I mean, I want to play Grave Warden, but the correct answer here is do the damage. Calcify, 10. Exact lethal. I'll happily take a second dirge in that deck. And... wait, which is the upgrade dense path I was going with? Oh, no, I was going Challenge Light. I stand by that. Let's hit this left. Okay, now priorities are going to be the defensive upgrades, I think. And yet again. Hey, Lantern, additional energy on turn 1. Pretty huge pickup for us. Reanimate is defensive. Yeah, Reanimate Calcify, hell yeah. Great first turn. Stack the deck with Reeve. Pass for the draw. Soulstorm. Do I soul? No, I'll spurt around that turn out. Grey Warden, Bodyguard, and... no, Sikkim, defend. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to say the answer to that is Big Dirge. I think it probably could have been Double Defend, but when am I really going to get the biggest Dirges out if I don't take the opportunity when it's offered? Ooh, Sickums both got upgraded there. Hell yes. Please draw a Sick. Well, yeah, a Sickum this turn. I'll take that. See, once I've got enough HP on Aussie, I don't have to worry about my own ever again. Sickum, Poke, Flatten, and then Rattle for 44 damage, as well as gaining 12 temp HP. Cleanse. I don't think I need that. Death March. I mean, there certainly are some turns where I'll draw a decent amount of cards, but I feel like I've already got the payoffs for that. Dangerous. I'm just going to drop a big Dirge so that I can try and draw through the deck as quickly as possible here. I think the goal has to just be get to Panache as quickly as possible, and then... I'm going to also play Big Dirge here. Panache, perfect. Soul, Soul. Damn it. Oblivion. Played a lot of cards there without triggering Panache. Also without defending. Was very reliant that it would. I mean, the Soulstorm at least got some more damage. That's nice. Drop Grey Warden, breed. Into Flare. Soulstorm's 24 right now. Gains 4 with each additional. It gains 3 with each additional because of the weaken. So I'd have to play 1, 2, 3. 3 more souls in order to kill the Decimate Millipede in the front line by myself. Ah. Right, of course. Not necessary, you see, for we have Panache at our backs. That was not the target I'd intended. 11, 16, 7. I mean, it'll hurt. Oh, it hurts. Absolutely. But it doesn't kill us. My mistake there. Which I do love mistakes that don't kill us. They allow us to, you know, bounce back. Drop a reanimate here. And now I just got to figure out a way to deal 19 damage when I'm not wounded. Nunchku. Delay is really good, but so is Putrefy, and so is Devour Life. Whenever you play a Soul, summon 1. I have to take that Devour Life. I've removed a single strike at a shop, so I'll dodge that shop for a question mark instead. Sickum, flatten, strike, kills 1. Defend, Sickum sets up another. May I please have my exterminate? I see, I can't. Poke, unleash, and then rattle hits 3 times, finishing the fight. Gambler's Brew, fetch, yes! 0 cost Aussie attack, that also draws a card. 0 energy and draw cost, gotta love that. Panache in the opening hand, I didn't even know that was possible. I'm gonna cycle past all these cards with Gambler Brew. Yeah, it's much better if we have the ability to stagger the ball bug in the front line this turn. As long as I bolster up the temp HP of Ostia before the Slumbering Beetle comes up, I think we are safe as houses. Gotta make sure I get to my requisite 5 cards a turn, though. Those cards are frankly too common for me. Let's drink this fruit juice because I'm going to be resting anyway, so resting with a higher max HP gives us more health, more glorious, glorious health. Yeah, big old dirge this first turn, thank you kindly. Also, if I sick him, then sets up a fetch and gives us additional energy as well. Ooh. Defend, devour life. Unfortunately, we will lose pass here. Frantic escape, frantic escape. Ow. Nash Oblivion, soul, soul. Soul. Yeah, I gotta keep up this runaway because this is gonna be a pretty long fight, I think. Speaking of pretty long fight, we'll also upgrade cards in the discard pile there. For much the same reason. Spur, defend, frantic. Ow. Oh boy. Okay, maybe we don't have time to play slow. God damn. Getting all the Sickums divorced from all of the follow-up Ostia attacks is really annoying for our HP. I do feel like the follow-up to this kind of just has to be Big Dirge. I didn't want it to be, but I need temporary HP on Ostia, and I also need a bunch of draws, so I don't know where I'm supposed to be finding them. Sickum. Land. Let's get some Grave Warden out there. A little bit of defend too. I want to drop the Soulstorm. But do I die if I don't frantically escape? I've got barely any frantic escapes that I can play in this draw pile. Next turn, the enemy is next to me. Well, I'm very glad I played it last turn, but unfortunately we will be right next to the enemy, and that's certainly looking like an amount that constitutes lethal. God damn. I definitely had 2 other opportunities in this fight to drop bigger damage, but both of them would have come at cost of HP, so I don't think I would have even made it to this turn had I done so. There's kind of like a peak of our power relatively early on in the fight. I mean, you know, I can play the reanimate here, but it's just... I'm not more efficient than the general action of the enemies right now. And so they get to eat me about it. How dare you? I don't even think that was that this deck is defense light necessarily. I mean, that certainly contributes towards it, right? We would be able to maintain more of our temp HP and then just, you know, more reliably live longer in the fight, but also just crush out the fights with Unleash. But I think the main problem with this deck ultimately ended up becoming that we had no control over additional energy. So we really needed our additional energy from getting the right cards in the right order, and that is to say, you know, Sick 'em sets up a zero costs flatten, zero cost poke. We soul to draw a bunch more cards and then play more pokes and stuff like that. All of the ways that we tried to add additional defense to the deck were contingent on other things. So, like, Dirge requires us to have a bunch of energy for this to be worthwhile in terms of our actual defense. Sick'em requires us to have a bunch of follow-up attacks from Osti. Devour requires us to have a bunch of souls, which also requires us to have already played Dirge. The most independent defense opportunities we took were Reanimate and Grave Warden. Was I offered many more? I can definitely see how a Borrowed Time would help here, in retrospect. But I also worry that just would have contributed additionally to our draw problem, right? If we get a hand that's just cards that draw and Borrowed Time, like, is that more efficient than just drawing the cards and the energy I would have wanted to play the cards? Very Reap. I think something huge that we didn't have access to in this run, and I don't think I even saw, Devour Life over Delay. That was definitely a mistake. Devour Life, I'd expect in this final fight, it probably ended up giving me somewhere between like 10 and 15 max HP. 10 HP, that is. Versus Delay, which I would have upgraded as a priority if I had the opportunity, which I guess I didn't. But it would have been giving us 13 block every time, 11 block every time on upgraded, and an energy, which would have helped towards our energy problems. I think the Delay, this is fundamentally the different decision I should have made on this floor. Take Delay over Devour Life. I think Fetch still fits. Even over Grave Warden, I think Fetch still fits, because Fetch is also defensive, courtesy of all of the things I was talking about before, of like, Sick'em requiring cards like Fetch, Flatten requiring cards like Fetch as a setup. So, like, Fetch is both energy, draw, it's temp HP scaling. It's all of these different things at the same time in this deck, which I think makes it justified over the Grave Warden there. But yeah, it's the Delay in this position that I should do differently. And then much earlier than this, like the floor earlier, it would be take a copy of Defy, because we had no access to Weaken in this run at all. And especially going up against enemies that are that are dealing like, 37 hits. And you scaled to, was that a 51 or something nearby the end? Or am I thinking of a different fight? Anyway, you scaled to individual large hits, which if I could just take a fourth of that off, oh baby, we become so much more survivable. For the moment though, let me just tell you that my name has been Rhapsody, and the name of the game has been Spire 2, and the top left has been the series playlists for all of my content of the game past, present, and future, and the YouTube recommendations down below, and the streaming pass for all the names of the people so generously supporting the Republic on Patreon.com/Rhapsody plays at the... It's supersonic now.